In this video, we talk to Pere, one of the strongest streetlifters out there. He shares his training tips and advice for beginners. So if you're just starting out or want to get better in streetlifting, this video is for you. Let's get started. Who are you and where are you from?
Hi, I am Pere Coll. I'm from Spain, from the region of Catalonia.
What's your age, body weight, titles? What do you do for a living?
I'm 25 years old. I was born in 1998 in December. I am 1 meter and 80 centimeters tall, and I was previous year's final rep world champion in the minus 87 kilogram category. And yeah, I hold the world record for the heaviest muscle up ever done in competition, which is 51 kilograms, and also the heaviest dip in my weight class category with 170 kilograms. My pull-up was 116.25 kilograms, and my squat was 220 kilograms.
What is weighted calisthenics? What is streetlifting?
A sport that was created around 5 to 6 years ago. We add weight to basic exercises, which are the muscle up, pull up, dips, and squat. And well, the objective of streetlifting is to lift the maximum weight you can for one repetition.
Why should someone do streetlifting? What do you love about it?
The fact that it's so easy to measure progress. For example, you maybe you can lift 10 kilos in pull-ups and you see progress really objectively, because if the next month you can lift 15, you have progressed 5 kilos. So it's really easy to measure the progress. And also physically, it's a very good sport to build muscle mass, because many people who does calisthenics, the fact that you train maybe more in parks in the street, it's harder to hypertrophy and create more muscle mass. So I think it's also very good for that. And yeah, I just love it.
When should someone start with streetlifting?
There are not very high requirements for streetlifting. If you can do few bodyweight pull-ups, few dips, I think you should already start streetlifting. You necessarily don't need to be able to do a muscle up to start streetlifting. You will manage to do one while practicing streetlifting. Maybe let's say if you can do 10 pull-ups and 10 dips, you can maybe start to try to add some weights.
How can I start with streetlifting?
First, you need to be in a gym mainly, because you need to work with weights, and if you go to a park, it's harder to transport the weight plates and everything. So I would say that first step would be maybe to try to join a gym or get some plates for your local park in the street. You need few equipment parts that are essential, like the weight belt, otherwise there's no way to use the weight. Chalk, it's also good for having good grip at the bars. I think these are the most essential parts to get maybe a gym membership or buy plates and get some equipment to do streetlifting.
With how much weight can I start?
I think if you've never worked with weight before, it depends on more or less your body weight level. For example, if you can do 5 to 10 pull-ups, maybe you should start trying with lower weights, let's say 2.5 kilograms, and let's try to see how can you perform with that. If you've been working in the parks for a very long time and you already know how to do lots of muscle ups and pull-ups, maybe you can go a little bit higher, but I wouldn't recommend to go very high, at least for the first weeks, so your body adapts to extra weights.
How many sets and reps should I do? What is the optimal workout split?
Personally, what I like to do, if there are 5 days available, I like to split the workout in pulling or pushing and legs. There are many variations and you can adapt it to your schedule and your availability. I think many people overload too much, tends to do more sets than needed. And yeah, for example, if you're splitting the week in 2 days where you're doing pull, maybe if you total around 10 sets of pull-ups between both days should be enough. It really depends also if you're more towards a volume phase, you add more sets, maybe more repetitions also.
How important is the warm-up? What do you recommend for warming up?
Like one of the most important things in the workout, I personally take around 10 minutes with elastic bands to warm up, plus 5 to 10 minutes to approximate to the weight I will be working in the first set. If you are not in a proper state to start the workout, you're not going to do well and you can have injuries more easily. So it's very, very important to proper warm-up. I recommend you to build your warm-up with exercise and implement exercise, try them for some time, and it also helps you to put in a good mental state for the workout.
Are there any warm-up exercises you would recommend?
Yeah, for example, the external and internal rotator cuff exercises for warm-up, I think it's very good because, for example, myself, I came from a calisthenics background and there are not many exercises that involve this movement, so I think we tend to have a lower mass in these muscles, and I think it's good to implement them as a warm-up exercise, yes.
Dip belt with chain or dip belt with rope?
Well, obviously with rope it's lighter and it's more safe, because with the chain I usually used to pinch my skin sometimes, which is very, very annoying. And you can put the plates lower, which for me it's very important to put the plates lower because it's easier to perform the exercises, at least with my technique. So yeah, definitely the rope.
What do you think about deload?
I think deloads are very important. It doesn't necessarily need to be super chill week, but just with very low weights and maybe reduced volume. But I definitely think are very important. And it's also important to know when to put them, because there's people who can handle more volume for longer periods of times, and there's people who cannot do it. So maybe for someone like me, I need to deload every 3 weeks. And maybe for some other people, or maybe more beginners that are working with lower weights, they can handle 5 to 6 weeks of volume and then at a deload after 6 weeks.
How many reps in reserve should I take? Should I go till the muscle failure?
That really depends on your training style. For example, for my style, I usually go around 4 to 0 repetitions in reserve in the main sets, for example. So yeah, again, it depends. More maybe in a volume phase, I try not to go that close to failure because I have more repetitions. And when I go to lower rep ranges, maybe I go closer to the muscular failure. It really depends on your style, but maybe around 3 repetitions in reserve would be the most common thing for me, for example.
How do I overcome a plateau in street lifting?
Usually when a plateau happens, means that what you're doing it's not good enough for you to improve. So you usually need to change things on your training. It's also important to identify what's making you stay in the plateau, because if you don't realize that your problem is the lower part of the pull-up, then you won't be able to improve it. So maybe you can ask your friends or someone external to have a look at your videos and analyze what's going wrong there.
What is progressive overload?
Progressive overload is the fact of adding more and more weight each week, for example. Creates adaptations in your body, helps you improve in your 1 repetition max.
Does the strength gained in street lifting transfer to calisthenics skills?
I think that if someone combined both, so train them regularly, it would definitely help. But if you want to train streetlifting, like take it more seriously and only do streetlifting, as you stop doing the other exercises, you will decrease your level. You can maybe still, if you could hold for a level before starting streetlifting, you will still be able to do it, but not maybe as long as you could. And you will definitely see a decrease in performance in the other exercises. But yeah, you need to decide if you want to focus on streetlifting or to be more towards a static athlete in calisthenics.
What are beneficial gym exercises for street lifting?
Bench press is a great exercise for dips. We can talk about some kind of vertical upward pressing, military press, dumbbell press, maybe in a machine also, inclined dumbbell press or with a bar. We tend not to work much the upper chest, so it's good to implement these exercises. For the shoulders, maybe lateral raises, triceps, etc. And for pull-ups, on the lat pull-downs, bicep exercises, the rear delts exercises, traps. So yeah, you need to know how to combine them and to properly build a good workout.
What is the biggest difference to powerlifting?
I think that the main difference between streetlifting and powerlifting is that in streetlifting you need, regarding the body, you need to have a lower fat percentage because you need to be lighter for the pull exercises. You need to feel lighter, especially not in the highest categories. Everyone has a pretty low fat percentage. We have more mobile elements such as the muscle up, where in powerlifting everything is with less movement and maybe more robotic.
To summarize, what would be the main tips that you would give someone who wants to start with street lifting?
I would say that you create good habits from the beginning. Have a good warm-up routine, learn how to properly arrange your workouts or get someone that helps you do that. Be consistent, have proper technique, and yeah, basically create good habits from the beginning. This way you will avoid injuries that sets you back for some time, and it's way better to take it slower and try to build a good foundation than trying to rush it, then having an injury, taking 3 steps back, and taking more time to reach the point where you were at, and learn to structure your workouts or have someone to help you structure your workouts.